Senator Scullion.
Mr President, my question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Climate Change and Energy Efficiency, Senator Wong. I refer the Minister to statements made in the Government's Clean Energy Future campaign that households should switch from electric to solar hot water in their homes. Does the Minister stand by the Government's claim that this will save money?
The Minister representing the Minister for Climate Change and Energy Efficiency, Senator Wong.
Well, thank you, Mr President. The Government has engaged in a campaign to ensure that households have a range of options they can look to reduce their energy usage, and that's a sensible thing to do. Regardless of what your views might or might not be on climate change, one would have thought it's a sensible thing to give households the information, should they require it, for them to choose as to what are the best options for them to reduce their use of energy, thereby saving money and thereby ensuring that they can reduce their electricity costs from what they might otherwise be. And I'd remind the Senator that support for those sorts of systems was in fact bipartisan in the context of the renewable energy target discussions. I'd remind the Senator that his party has, and certainly Mr Hunt, with whom he may not agree, has previously indicated a great deal of support for the solar industry. And so if the Senator is suggesting that somehow the opposition no longer is supportive of solar, perhaps he could indicate what the change in opposition policy is. The approach we've taken in relation to climate change has been to lay out a comprehensive plan that both puts a price on carbon as the most economically efficient way to move to a cleaner energy future, to invest in renewables, and also to ensure households have the information they need to make changes to their energy consumption if they so wish. I'd also remind the Senator of this fact. His party shares the position of the Government in terms of a reduction by 2020 of 5%. The difference is your plan costs more, and it will cost Australian taxpayers more.
Senator Scullion.
Can the Minister explain why the Government's housing program, CHIP, is removing solar hot water systems and replacing them with electric systems in refurbished houses and installing electrical systems in the new houses? Does the Government not believe in its own claims, or is this just another example of the Government botching another one of its programs?
The Minister.
Well, Mr President, I'm not the Minister to whom that question should be addressed. That program, as the Senator knows, that program from recollection resides in Minister Macklin's portfolio. And that question, I think, should properly have been addressed, Mr President, to Senator Arby. It's unfortunate that the opposition remains so lazy when it comes to preparing for question time that they can't ask the correct minister the question. But really, one shouldn't be surprised with their laziness, because you see it when it comes, Mr President, to their economic position and their economic policy. We see that Mr Hockey has belatedly realised the price tag on all of Mr Abbott's promises.
Senator Wong, just resume your seat. Senator Scullion.
Don't know the answer. Not having a good day today, Pat.
Senator Scullion.
Point of order on relevance. The question I asked, I prefaced by indicating that the Minister was in fact responsible for the Clean Energy Future campaign, and in my supplementary I asked her specifically about does the Government believe in its own claims that she gave in her first answer, and whether or not this is another example of the program. She has made no attempt at all to answer any part of the question.
There is no point of order. Senator Wong has 9 seconds remaining if there are any further comments to complete the answer. 9 seconds.
Well, as I said at the outset of the question, if the Senator had asked the correct Minister about the CHIP program, which is what he asked about, he might have got an answer.
Senator, order. Senator Scullion.
Thank you. This is well within their portfolio ambit. Is the minister aware? Is the minister aware that electric hot water systems are the appliance that uses the most electricity in the average house? Can the minister explain how low-income earners will be able to pay for the increases in their power bills resulting from the double slug of the removal of their solar hot water heating and the introduction of the government's carbon tax?
The minister.
Well, I'm very happy to answer the question about low-income households because we are very happy to answer that because we on this side have a very clear plan as to how to assist low-income Australians to deal with the impact of a carbon price. And we have laid that out. Tax cuts for every Australian earning less than $80,000 a year. Tax cuts you will wind back. You're going to have to go to the next election with a policy of increasing taxes for all Australians, increasing the taxes for Australians, unless you're prepared to come in here and tell us how you'll fund them. And I would suggest, Senator, that might be a long time coming. Let's remember, we on this side will be reducing income tax, increasing the pension, providing assistance to self-funded retirees for our policy. On that side, we have an unfunded policy to add to the $70 billion black hole, more economic illiteracy.